Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, One Enlightened Diva, and I am Valerie. I hope you all are doing well today. I am doing well today. I have a quick message. So earlier, I placed a post on my Facebook page, and it said something to this degree. It said that we don't need anyone to lead us to God because we are extensions of God. And so in saying that, then we don't need anyone to lead us to God. Because why do we need someone to lead us to God when God is within us? That God is always within us. That He's never outside of us. When we understand that everything is within, including God. So that being the case, then you got to ask yourself, okay, so when you go to church, I feel like the masses believes that you're gaining a relationship with God, or someone knows more about God than you do, right? But if you take the Bible away, because they're supposed to be teaching you the Bible, right? And they're supposed to be teaching you this Bible so that you can have a relationship with God, or a better relationship with God. But no, if there was no Bible, if there was no church, you would still have a relationship with God. You could still have a relationship with God because God is within you. So if you never heard any words out of the Bible, right? If nobody ever said anything to you about God, when you understand that God is within you, that no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, God is everywhere you are, right? And so whatever you want to say to God, whatever you need answers to, you only have to go within yourself to talk to God. And God will answer you. You just have to pay attention. So it's like, I stopped going to church a couple of years ago. Well, really, it may be, maybe it's been longer than that. When I woke up to the fact that God was within me, and that all I needed to do was just find me a quiet place, right, to talk to God. You can talk to God wherever you are. You can be at work talking to God, right? Because God is within us. We don't understand. Like, people may say, well, okay, God is within us. But you got to really think about that. You got to think about that. So if you know that God is really within you and that you are an extension of God, then now you got to ask yourself, well, so why do you go to church? What's the purpose of church? When you go to church, what happens when you go to church? You hear singing. So you might say, well, Valerie, I go to church because I like the singing. Okay, that's one thing. Okay. Then you might hear somebody say, well, I go to church because I want to learn more about the Bible. But let me just say this, that just because somebody teaches you about the Bible doesn't mean that they have the understanding of the Bible that they can teach it to you. It's only their understanding of the Bible that they're teaching you, not your understanding. Because I've said this a million times. I could read the Bible or a verse in the Bible, and you could read the same verse in the Bible, and guess what? We may get two different meanings. So then you got to ask yourself, who has the correct meaning of it, right? And I'm probably going to say, I do, and then the other person going to say, no, I do, right? So it's like, who do you listen to? And we have these people in these positions that are supposed to be uh, teaching you right about the Bible. But what if they don't even understand it, or they only understand it to a certain extent, and they only are only teaching you what they understand, but that don't mean that it's the truth, or that doesn't mean that it's right. Right? That's why you have to learn to have your own relationship with God, right? And get your own understanding. But I say that to say, it's like we're in this season now. This is judgment season, right? And I'm gonna just deviate for a minute. That we're in judgment season. I placed another post on my Facebook page where it was saying that we're in judgment season, and those that are misleading the masses are gonna get it the worst in this season. Why? Because they are misleading the masses. When you know the truth that God is within you, because see, if you run in a church, even though you may know the truth, you may know this truth right here. What is the truth am I talking about? The truth that you don't need to go to church, right, to have a relationship with God. That if you just choose to go just because, well, that's another thing for whatever reason. But if it's about gaining a relationship with God or having a relationship with God, you ain't got to go to church another day in your life, right? Because when you understand that God is within you, then why are you going to church? You, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, when I think about church now, not all churches, because I haven't been to all churches. And I know I'm kind of all over the place, but it's like when you go to certain churches, you got churches that selling merchandise. You understand what I'm saying? It's a money thing, right? It's very rare that you go to a church that takes the money or gives out money, right? It doesn't happen. They're always taking and we're always giving, right? And people will give their last because they feel like, well, if I give my last, you know what I'm saying, to the church, then something good gonna happen to me. No, you're just giving your money away. That's all that you're doing. When you understand that whatever you're getting, right? Because see, it's just like this. You give your money because you like, okay, well, I'm giving my money, so that means that something good gonna happen to me, right? I'm giving it to this church, so I know something good's gonna happen. But you don't understand that the law, divine law, says that what you put out is what you get back. It ain't got nothing to do with the church, right? At the end of the day, the church, what does the church do? It takes your money every Sunday, right? It always reiterates why you need to give to the church, right? Now, you need to give to the church because you're giving it to these people and they put it in their pockets, right? And they got people up under this illusion, right? That's what you're supposed to do. Because I hear people saying, I didn't go to church, I didn't tithe and everything. And you know what I'm saying? It's just like illusions. Because if you're going to give your money to something, give it to somebody that you know that's in need, right? That'll come back to you. Giving it to the church, no, that's not gonna yield anything for you, right? Because see, right now, as I said before, we're in this judgment season, and these people that's misleading the masses, okay, they're gonna be the first one to get it, right? Because why? Because these people know that they're misleading the masses, but what they are counting on is that we stay blind to the fact that they are misleading us by using religion, by using the fact that we want to have a relationship with God, that we need to have a relationship with God, and that the only way we can have it is if we go to church. And I'm saying that's absolutely not the truth. That we don't need anyone to have a relationship with God. All we need is ourselves. It's nothing outside of us. God is inside of us in every living thing, right? It's like the church, they take and they say, well, you're supposed to tithe, right? That's what they use. But it's very, like I said, it's very rare that they paying somebody bills or, you know what I'm saying, or helping someone in any way. No, they just take. And that's how they're getting rich. Based on manipulation, based on an illusion. Because of the fact that we feel that that's what we need to do in order to have a better relationship with God. But to me, if you want to have a better relationship with God, number one, go within. Number two, work on yourself, right? The more you work on yourself, and that ain't got nothing to do with church. And what do I mean by that? Working on yourself spiritually. Spiritually is what I'm saying. Whatever it is that praying, meditating, nobody has to show you how to do that, right? What is meditating? Meditating is just sitting in a quiet spot and going within, just like prayer. Why do you meditate? Why do you pray? Because you know that God is within you. I would assume that if you're meditating and you're praying, you know that God is within you, that you're not praying to something that's outside of you, right? That's what church, these religious leaders want you to believe, that when you pray, you're praying to a God that's a real God, right? Outside of you. But God is within us and has been within us and will always and will continue to be within us. And it's like this message, the main thing that I want to get across in this message is that don't be deceived thinking that God is outside of you. These people have profited off of our, I'm not going to say stupidity, off of the fact that we don't know that God is within us. And they've made the fact that we don't know that God is within us, they have made it a business. Like literally, churches, religion is a religion. I mean, excuse me, it is a business. And we're the consumers. And what we're supposed to be getting in return is, a better relationship with God. But guess what? It has nothing to do with the church, and it has nothing to do with whomever is supposed to be leading you. It has to do with you. That's what they don't want you to know. When we figure out that we don't need them to have a relationship with God, that is the end of them. And that is the end of them misleading humanity. And they don't want that. And that's why people like me and others, that's why we get targeted. That's why, we get so much opposition. Because see, one thing I realized, it's like if you tell somebody, like if somebody hears this message, they're gonna feel some type of way. They're gonna say, "Oh no, not my pastor, or not the person that's leading me. No, they've been doing it for so." And it's just like it doesn't matter. And I'm not saying that this is every person, right? Because I try not to put everybody in the box, but they know who they are. But why do you think, like TD Jakes, why do you think that what had happened to him happened? Do you think that's a coincidence that he got exposed? No, that wasn't a coincidence. There ain't no coincidences in the universe. It ain't no accidents in the universe that everything that's supposed to happen happens right when it's supposed to. It's just that time now. And I said it again, we're in judgment season. He's not the first and he won't be the last. Right? And I say religion because I'm talking about religion, but I'm talking about companies. I'm talking about the justice system, the health system, the educational system. I'm talking about all these systems that's built up on all this sand. Man, they falling, man. They falling and they're gonna keep falling. Because the universe has to balance itself. And all of these ones that have built up, right, and manipulated humanity in whatever form or fashion, well, it has to fall. Now, does that mean that it's gonna fall and nothing's gonna take its place? I'm not saying that. I feel like in some cases it'll be certain systems will be revamped, but then some of them are just gonna fall because the planet is balancing itself now, and that was on top will be on the bottom, and that on the bottom will be on the top. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to share that with you. I was actually inspired by something that I heard from a YouTuber that I listened to, Cosmic Divine Enlightenment. I love her. Yeah, I love her. But yeah, she inspired this video, right? And she actually inspired the post that I posted on my Facebook page, but this video was inspired by those posts. It's just time for everybody to wake up. And they will, and they are. And if you guys like this video, give it a like, share it, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell if you'd like to be notified when I upload a new video. And if you'd like to donate or support my channel, all of the information is in the description box. Thank you. Bye-bye.